Welcome back to the Nurturous Pod. We got a special guest with us this week. We got Zohaib, Rattu, the head of growth at Snowball, and he's even got his own little special guest. How's it going,
She's my
man?
little snowball, Alina. Say hi,
Yeah.
Alina. Hello.
Hi, Alina.
Yeah, she
So
just hit 10
awesome.
months, so she's like, I gotta start, grinding with daddy, so
Absolutely. You got to start him young, right?
yeah.
Learn the ways.
Yep.
That's amazing, man. So you just got back from Grow, yeah?
Yeah,
New
I was at
York.
Grow, great event. Shout out to the Avi boys, shout out to Nick Sharma, great fun event. Made a lot of learnings and stuff like that, and yeah, man, New York, it's the place to be. I grew up out
New
here,
York.
so it's always nice coming back.
Dude, that's so awesome. So you're still in New York right now. You're not flying back to Dallas for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be flying back in a few weeks. But yeah, I'm
Cool.
here with the family. Alina had to see the grandparents, and I needed an
Oh, nice.
excuse to, just get my heads down on work. She's too young for
Absolutely.
childcare right now.
Yeah. She's adorable, man. No, that's super
Thank you,
fun.
thank you.
So, well, cool, man. How have things been at Social Snowball? You just started there, what was it? Like, it was a couple months ago. Um,
Actually, just 3 weeks
it,
ago. It's
it was 3 weeks. Okay.
yeah, just
I
three
thought I
weeks.
was thinking
Yeah.
more as like 2 months, but yeah, 3 weeks. Dang, dude,
No,
that's
no,
crazy.
dude, it is nuts. We have a lot of traction. I mean, every single day we're getting booked demos, and we're just trying to keep up with the demand right now. It's been pretty awesome. It was a really great run at Send Lane prior to this, and just wanted to get out of the email and SMS space because I was at Attentive before that, and Live Recover Voyage. So just wanted to try something different, and it's been great working with Noah and the rest of the squad.
Nice, man. So I know you're the head of growth and partnerships specifically. Are there any other sales guys with you, or is it just you, basically, and Noah?
Yeah, we do have another salesperson on our team, and then we're
Okay,
hiring more as well. So, if you're
nice.
interested and you're listening to this, please reach out. Let us know.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. Are you guys going to be starting hiring soon?
Yeah, basically we just we're onboarding another person in about a week, and then perhaps later on the summer, depending on kind of more demand and stuff that comes in, we'll probably look into more.
She's supposed to join in on the conversation
Yeah.
as well. I love it. Oh, that's awesome. Well, cool, man. No, it sounds like some exciting things are happening. I think the first time I ever like saw you or got in touch with you was, I think it was an event or some kind of webinar. You were still with Sinlane, and I think it was with like Hooks, Sinlane, and then there's a couple other tech providers. But I was watching you. You were on the panel or whatever, chatting. So, no, I've been following your journey for a while, and I was excited to see that you landed at Social Snowball. Just Noah, I know Noah and Gina have done a couple things, different events and things together. So yeah, no, Social Snowball it's awesome. Really cool stuff happening for sure. But
Yeah, yeah. Big part of the reasons why I love Social Snowball and Stay's relationship is just the way that you guys are currently marketing and growing your programs. It's a lot of organic trust building with the community, and that's exciting to me because then you can focus more on the product itself. I think the big issue is right now is a lot of these SaaS companies, they'll raise a ton of money and then they'll use it to just run ads and run all these like fancy promotional events. But I see you guys and Noah and all that, like it's very genuine and real. So uh, you guys are always just constantly delivering educational content, and I think that that's so powerful in itself because you're enabling people who may not be using your tool correctly or some other tool, and you guys are just like, YOLO, here's the information.
right.
And through that trust, people are just coming over. So um, how can I not want to join that type of momentum?
No, absolutely, man. Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. I was at Route previously, before joining Stay, and it was one of those big companies. We got a ton of funding. We're doing a bunch of promotional events, but nothing against Route. Like it was a great learning experience. I had a ton of fun there, learned a ton. But yeah, definitely when I saw Stay and Gina, everyone and what they were doing, like it was definitely something I want to be a part of. So, no, that's cool, man. And yeah, it's just exciting. It's an exciting space. There's lots of cool things going on. Obviously, I know we could go on and on. This week, I feel like, especially with Grow and then Postscript requiring fondue, and just like there's a ton of things going on. Always, I feel like in the space. But anyways, man, I'm just happy to have you on. And yeah, I kind of wanted to dive more into like your background, to your story of how you've gotten to where you are today. I know I sent you over a few different questions a little bit later than I wanted to, but the same way, I kind of wanted to dive into those really quick. And
That's a little,
uh-oh,
foreshadow to my life story right there.
shut up.
So, yeah,
Oh, that's
so
funny, man. That's too
I
good.
could jump into it if you
Um,
want. It's a
yeah, absolutely.
it's
Let's
a
do
kind of
it.
ridiculous.
You were saying you're the no, you're saying you're the class clown back in high school. Tell me about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I mean, like, um, I grew up in the suburbs on Long Island, and honestly, I was one of the only people who kind of like looked like me at my school. So, um, I was standing out for like the reasons that I wouldn't want to be stood out for. So I kind of took matters into my own hands, and essentially, I was just like, let me just be a freaking idiot, and I was the guy who would bring his ukulele to school and sing songs and serenade teachers and then get detention. Quite often I was cutting class. Like I was just like a bad student. Not the stereotypical like kid that my parents wanted me to be, which was like a pre-med, like focus on like school, be really good at math and stuff. I was always into more creative endeavors. So I used to be in a band, and I was like a singer in a band, and we were singing like indie rock because that was like the big thing back in like 2008, 2009, right? Like bands like Vampire Weekend, Tokyo Police Club, and um, I guess the Kooks and all that stuff. So like that was the type of stuff I was really into, and we were covering music. We got second place at the Battle of the Band. So to me personally, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a musician. But then like a year later, I got into, I don't know, I saw High School Musical, and I was like, I want to be an actor. Like, and then I, like I kept switching up, and then ultimately got into college and was like, all right, time to get serious and make money, I guess. So my focus became dentistry. So I obviously didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I switched majors like 7 times. I ended up dropping out of school for a year because I was just like, I need to find myself. So I was one of those guys.
Hmm.
And that's when I landed into the tech scene. It was when I was finding myself. I was watching a bunch of TV, and there was this TV show called Silicon Valley, and I'm sure a lot of people
Yes.
who are probably listening to this have watched it. But for
Yep.
some reason, just like a bunch of sweaty dudes in a house, like, sitting on a computer and just arguing, like for some reason sounded super attractive to me. So I went back to college, and I was like, let me just finish school. I worked at the Apple store while I was doing it. So um finished up school and started applying to internships, believe it or not. So I didn't find a job out of college because, obviously pre-med didn't work out, and got into an internship at Oracle, and I was DMing people like crazy on LinkedIn and all that. And one guy took a chance, and he was just like, hey, if you can apply to like a master's program, I can get you into this internship. So I started applying to random master's programs and stuff like that that didn't require a GRE or anything. And I got an acceptance letter, and I gave it to him. And the reason why I had to do this was because Oracle, big company, they have a lot of bureaucratic shit that they have to like, fit. So um
Right.
basically I snuck my way into an internship. I was getting paid $16 an hour, and they were like, yo, can you fly out to DC? I was like, I can't afford flying out, so I'll drive down. I drove down, and I This is like when Airbnb was not like huge yet. I found an apartment off Craigslist, and I was living with like a bunch of people in like a living room. It was like mad sus. I was like looking for the cheapest apartment. It was just like, dude, it was just like a bunch of international people like that didn't even speak English, and I was like living in a living room with them for
No
like about
way.
2 months to like kind of like because I wasn't getting paid enough. Oracle was like actually it was $20 an hour. It wasn't 16, so a little raw,
Oh, there you go.
like fib there,
Couple
but
bucks off. Yeah.
yeah, but it was not enough to like afford an apartment in DC. So I did that and basically told myself I'm going to force my way into getting a freaking full-time job here. And so networking, working for free on the weekends, like honestly, like it sucked. And, I wouldn't advise people to do this, but I kind of was desperate. And that's how I learned all my marketing and technical stuff. I came in as a BD intern, so business development intern. And
Hmm.
yeah, I ended up getting into freaking product and product marketing by the time I left, and that was all through just doing like all these side quests, uh, and side missions by networking with other bosses, and I would automate as much as possible. So I was on that Zapier flow and uh, you
Nice.
know running Google scripts and stuff to like get leads and automatically send emails for myself. I wouldn't tell my boss this. Hey, Alina, it's okay. Um,
Lena.
yeah, I literally like straight up started running scripts and stuff and automating all my work processes. And through that, yeah, I didn't tell my boss that I was automating it and was doing side work for other people and ended up switching teams. So, hey,
No way.
give me one
No,
second.
you're good. You're good.
All right, we're good. So,
Oh, Lena's back. There we go.
she just needed a
Cool.
little toy.
Yeah. I feel like most of the time that does the trick. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have kids yet personally. Still probably a couple years out, but can't wait to have them. We just had it was my sister-in-law. She just had a baby like a couple months ago, and they came over yesterday, and dude, so freaking cute, so adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely can't wait. It'll be fun. But back on your experience, man, that is crazy. Like the fact that you drove, so you were living in New York at the time, you drove down to DC, you found this apartment off Craigslist, you're living in the living room with a bunch of random foreign dudes, like, and then you just grinded your way to the top with all the automation and everything. No, that's crazy, man. I think that shows a lot about your character and just like the personality and dedication that you had to have to do what you want to do. And I think it's even funnier that all of that kind of stemmed from Silicon Valley, like seeing that I've watched a couple episodes and it's super funny, but I totally get where you're coming from. It's like I don't know what it is about it, but like even though it's a bunch of sweaty like fat dudes in a living room like grinding and working on a project together, like there's still something so I don't know if I'd call it inspiring, but like it's definitely interesting and it kind of like I watched it once I was already kind of in tech, but at the same time I was like, oh, this is crazy, this is cool, like this is so awesome. So yeah, kind of funny that all of that stemmed off of Silicon Valley, and then you're able to kind of work your way to where you did at Oracle. And no, that's cool. So it looks like from Oracle, that's when you made the jump to Attentive. Is that right? What kind of made
Yeah.
you want to take that jump?
Well, I had someone slide into my DMs. It was a recruiter, and I was doing some research on Attentive. They raised their Series B. I didn't know what Series A, B, C, whatever that meant, but I knew that that
Yeah.
was like some startup term. And where I worked at Oracle, it was actually an acquired startup. So I saw the end goal of what startups had, which is getting acquired by a bigger company, and experiencing kind of like what a big company does to a startup was so crappy because like I came in right when the startup got acquired. It was still very startup-y. We were getting a lot of stuff done, but things started slowing down and slowing down and slowing down to a point where I was doing nothing all day. So all my mentors, and I would recommend everyone getting like some sort of colleague, mentor, whatever, that's older than them by at least like 10, 15 years. So then you can at least like ask questions to someone who has experience. I know all the young people, like even me, I was like this too, where I was like, this guy's mad old, or this woman's mad old. Like, they don't know crap about like what's going on, but they do. They've been through it. A lot of this stuff is cyclical. So essentially some guy was like, hey man, I really do think that you should probably work at a startup. I think it's better for you. I don't know what it is, but it seems like you like doing a lot of things and you get bored pretty quickly if the task becomes too monotonous, or like there's not much change going on in the company. And I said, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with working on like new projects. So, I went through the interview process. It was for a product marketing role. Attentive, unfortunately, hired internally for the role. So then they were like, but we'd love to have you on the team. So would CS be cool? So I ended up doing like customer success, had no experience in kind of that realm or space. And what was really awesome for me was now that I've had product experience, product marketing experience, CS experience, it was very easy for me to then work more strategic at like kind of like working with the exec team. So I moved into the exec team, like not on the exec team, but I would work under the execs on like special innovation projects. So there one project was Bubble Pay, which was the pay via text option that a lot of these guys are coming out with now. But basically I was working on that, and that was really, really cool because I got the experience of like building a product from the ground up with just engineers and one designer. Like, we were just all sitting in a room. And from there I got this thirst of like, I want to work at even smaller startups, because by that time Attentive was at Series E and it was becoming more and more like corporate like. And I realized that I thrived in kind of like this ambiguous space of like, we don't know what the hell we're building or what's going to come next, but let's just do it. And for me, that was really fun. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome, dude. That's super crazy. I want to go back to what you said about mentors. I think that's something that, I don't know, since doing this podcast, I think almost every single one of the guests that I've had on have said that like mentors have been key in their life, just helping them find that direction that they want to go and helping them kind of guide them there. And so I guess going back on that experience when you were networking at Oracle, kind of just picking people's brains and getting in touch with others, like, what did that kind of look like for you? How'd you even get going? How'd you know what people to talk to? Because I feel like that's half the battle, is even being able to find a mentor who's like willing to help you through your career progression.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like weird, but basically I'm a huge basketball fan. I love the Knicks, and we suck most seasons. So until recent, but at the time, this is around 2016, 2017, we sucked, but I would be such a diehard Knicks fan, diehard New Yorker, that when I was there, every Slack channel, any mention of New York, any mention of basketball, I'd be like, yo, the Knicks are going to take the ring, blah, blah, blah. It got people talking. And one day, there was one director of marketing, Justin Highnote. He's my boy. He used to be one of like the early members of Uber. So this guy was up there, had a lot of experience. He was commenting on the thread that I had. So it was like this random basketball or sports channel. He responded, and then I was just like, all right, I'm gonna DM him. So then I YOLO DM'd him, and I basically was like, we started chatting basketball, podcast stuff, like Bill Simmons. This is before podcasts became like big. Like, most of the podcasts were all sports related podcasts, right? Because they were just recording the radio show and just posting it on iTunes. But essentially we were talking about, I still remember, we were talking about Bill Simmons and Jalen Rose and a few other like, hosts, and which ones like had the best analysis and stuff like that. And then I was like looking at tickets on SeatGeek, and this, like there was like the SeatGeek coupon, and I was like freaking making like 45,000. I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm not making much. I'm gonna buy tickets. I'm gonna buy him a ticket, and I'm gonna take him to a game. So I just asked him. I was like, hey man, I got season tickets. I just lied, and I was like, hey,
Yeah.
what day are you available? And he was like, oh, I'm available this day. I was like, all right, bet. Like, you want to come with me? I have season tickets to the game. This guy thought, oh, he's probably got money if he's got season tickets and all that. So I like straight up lied. Got him to come with me. Dude, I bought tickets in like the freaking 400 or 300 section of the Verizon center or
No
whatever.
way. Yeah.
So we were way up there, but he didn't know until we got in. He was like heading to the 100 section. He's like, so where are we sitting? I was like, oh, dude, we got to take the escalator. So we take the first escalator. He's like, all right, well, like we can grab some drinks or food or whatever. I was like, no, we got one or two more escalators to go, dude. And then he was like, really? I was like, yeah, sorry, dude. I'm poor. So like, but like we had a really good time, and I was like, look, man, you inspire me. You're someone that I really like want to model my career after, and that's kind of how I got him through the door. I looked for the interest that he had, which was we both had a common interest for sports, basketball. I knew he was into the Charlotte Hornets because he was from North Carolina. So I leveraged all that knowledge, and I kind of like pitched him, or like not pitched him, but like I followed whatever sales tactics. Like, Attentive gives out freaking AirPods to everyone. I did the same shit. I was
Yeah.
like, I know what this guy likes. He likes basketball. I don't need to tell him the seat number yet because, he'll find out. Like, but we had a really good time. Like, afterwards, we went out for some Chinese food. Like, we had a really good time. He got over the whole, like, shitty seats and all that because we had a really genuine conversation. He knew that I was trying. I was, like, 22, 23 at the time. But yeah, that's kind of how it happened. You have to go, and you can't just go out and say like, help me. You have to
Yeah.
provide some value, and that value is like maybe for that person, the mentor themselves, they want to become a better leader or a better teacher, or maybe they want to get into consulting later. Like, so you have to convince them on that vision. So being a good protege that provides a counter value, which is like, I will actually listen and implement your advice. And then when you do that, they see results increasing for you. Now they have some value that they can, go out and monetize, right? So we kind of did
Yeah.
that, and he ended up leveraging it to start his own consulting for other companies and all that. So like, you have to do that as a mentee, I guess, or a wannabe mentee, right? So
Right. No,
that was kind of the
that's cool,
journey
man.
there.
No, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I think yeah, being scrappy like that, especially when you're young, I think can go a long, long ways. Like, that's the funniest story ever, man. Oh yeah, I got season tickets. Like, dude, you got to do what you got to do to get your foot in the door, and I think that's amazing. So, I think being creative and kind of more strategic about the way you go about approaching those people who you want to kind of model your career after is, yeah, no, amazing advice. I love that. Absolutely. Well, cool, man. I know we got to cut it short today a little bit, and maybe I'll have to have you on another time and we can go more in depth. But I guess just like high level through your experiences, because I know, so you went to Attentive. After that, you were at Voyage. That's where you ended up at Sin Lane after that, and then from Sin Lane, now you're at Social Snowball, right? So
Yep.
through this kind of journey, um, like what pieces of advice would you give your younger self? There's nothing I know obviously that you would like change about this experience, but just looking back, if there would have been one thing you could have done maybe a little bit differently, what would that be?
Yeah, I think one piece of advice I would have for myself is kind of like, you probably noticed that a lot of the YOLO experiences somewhat started once I had a career at 20, so what I would tell myself as a kid is like, hey man, don't be so nervous and start assuming things that are kind of, negative about yourself, because like most people don't even think about that. They're actually, I would say like 95% of people are always assuming the best about everyone. And you should assume the best for yourself as well. So like always strive for um, the thing that you want, essentially. Like I would constantly tell myself I couldn't do something because of who I am, where I come from, being an immigrant, da da da. Like so I would literally just impede on my own progress. And I think after talking to that guy, Justin, Liam is another one. Love him. I still talk to both of them to this day. If I didn't have those guys in my life telling me like, yo, dude, you're just as smart or smarter than other people. Stop like telling yourself you're not and asking or demanding for the things that you want. So like, maybe it's a higher position, maybe it's more responsibility, whatever. I wish I did that back in high school. I could have probably run for student government. I could have probably joined those XYZ clubs. I could have, made the band, stay together, because our guitarist he's famous now. His name is Saint Pepsi. He's out there touring. Like,
No way.
maybe if I, like, so not that I have any regrets. It's just, it took me that long to learn. And I wish I'd taught myself that earlier, that, I shouldn't be afraid, based on an assumption.
It's powerful, man. I think, yeah, a lot of times people have hesitations to take that step out of their comfort zone. And so, no, I think that's great advice. But just to wrap it up, man, I appreciate you hopping on. Like I said, we're gonna have to do it again. I really enjoyed the conversation. If people want to find you or follow you, where can they find you at?
Hit me up on Twitter, Zohaib Rattu. That's my handle. You can find me on LinkedIn or email me at zohaib@socialsnowball.io.
Perfect,
Yeah,
man.
happy
Well, I
to chat.
appreciate you. Awesome. Well, have a good one. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks, Zach, for having me on. Catch you later, dude.
Of course. See ya.
Bye, everyone.